How's it going, everyone? Just here to keep you all up to date and informed with what's transpiring with the whole ArcheAge and Kakao situation. And just yesterday, actually, Kakao posted some information about the Unchained version going forward. And hopefully there will be some more information, in the coming days as well. And as it is released, we'll cover that as well for you. But first, let's talk about it. There is a fresh start coming. That's right. A new fresh start. Now, this is actually kind of to be expected because, Kakao is taking over as publishing. They probably want their own server that they run from the get-go that has not been touched or muddied or messed with by some other publisher or other company, game company that, made changes to how it was monetized and things like that. So, there is going to be a new fresh start server. When? We don't know exactly. What they say here is, yes, there will be an integrated server and a fresh server for each version and region. Now, the integrated server is, I'm believing, is going to be the pre-existing servers. It's, there's a transference of data from what the current game is being hosted on by Gamago, and it's going to have all of the data transferred over to Kakao for Kakao to now be running the live service. So there's that, and then there's going to be a fresh start, right, which is going to be starting out from Kakao's hands. When is it going to be? We don't know. This could literally be something that, happens December 2nd, right after the integration, right? Because remember, Kakao wants to do a global server. And with doing a global server, that means, Korea and NA and EU are going to be on the same build. Now, for all we know, this is something that they've been working on for a long time, and they may already have ready to roll out, potentially, right? So the transfer of service begins on December 1st from Gamago to Kakao. And, again, Kakao has been working with XL Games for over a year now. This is something that they could have been having in the works, preparing, ready to go at a moment's notice, on a very short notice. And so for all we know, this fresh start could be right at the very beginning of December, or it could literally be sometime next year. We have no idea. They haven't announced it yet. Hopefully this is something they talk about soon, but it is possible that, they just suddenly jump the updates up to this point. It wouldn't be the first time that that's happened. With the Unchained release, they went from patch 5.6 to 6.0 and skipped 5.7 and 5.8, and just, that was one catch-up instance that existed as well. And so this could be another one of those situations where they just immediately, boom, hey, we're moving you guys all forward in terms of this, and we're starting the fresh start. This is where the game's starting, and this is how it's going to be going forward. That is something that they could do. It would be the easiest time for them to do it. So who knows? We'll just have to wait and see with that. That being said, they are doing something that has been extremely controversial since it was announced, and that is that ArcheAge Unchained is going to have a subscription going forward, a mandatory subscription going forward. So they are moving away from the buy-to-play purchase DLC model, which over time did have monetized elements make its way back into the cash shop. So that whole ArcheAge Unchained not having any pay to win cash shop stuff in there never really held up. It just wasn't really successfully monetized in that regard. So Kakao is trying something else that is what honestly many of you have asked for a very long time, which was a forced subscription model ArcheAge with no pay to win in it. And that is what they are going with this time around and what they're going to try, right? They are going to go with a subscription that is going to be priced at $9.99 for 30 days. Actually pretty reasonable. And discounts can be obtained when purchasing for longer periods. Now, the change to the sub model was made in order to remove the chance to increase in-game power with real life currency. So basically, and they are taking out any sort of monetizable elements that were put in by Gamago, and they are just putting it as a subscription model for the game. Now, like they say right here, a lot of people are like, okay, but we've already bought the game. We were told it was buy to play, yada, 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 things like that. Well, what they're doing is everybody who's bought the base game is going to get 60 days of free game time. And then on top of that, anybody is going to get 30-day free trial. So just if you've bought ArcheAge Unchained period, you are going to get 90 days of gameplay time up front. And then if you've purchased any of the DLCs since Unchained's release, you are going to get game time for each of those DLCs that you purchased as well. So I believe it comes out to, if you've purchased all the DLCs, you get up to like 5 months of gameplay time, which is, you know, let's be honest, for many of you who are going to play a fresh start, that's longer than many will play. Okay. But, you know, so the reason why this is such a controversial thing right now is, despite this having been something that so many people have asked for and wanted for, I think a big part of it is so many people have gotten accustomed to either A, playing the free-to-play version with the optional sub for the legacy servers, or B, gotten very cozy with their buy-to-play for all of their alt accounts and, you know, just owning multiple accounts and running a bunch of, you know, running 8 accounts, that kind of thing. And what people don't want to do now is have to pay a subscription for all of those alt accounts. I get it. You know, I understand that. But realistically, if you want to run all those alt accounts, they're going to monetize it from you. You know, and from a way that is not just a one-time purchase. It's going to be month to month. So if you do want to run 8 accounts, you're going to need 8 subscriptions for it. And that's just the way that they're doing it right now going forward. I don't know what the overall intent is with it. Obviously, the main intent, the initial intent, obviously, is to remove any of the pay to win, as people have wanted. Was, you know, the original ArcheAge Unchained was supposed to be this buy-to-play version with 0 monetized elements in the game other than cosmetics, which never held up. You know, so Kakao is going to try and do that, and I guess they feel the best way to do that is a subscription. I don't necessarily think they're wrong. I just don't think that the game is so far in at this point that long term you're not going to get enough people for that to be sustainable. That being said, it's nice to see that they're willing to take this approach with it, because maybe this is something that they're looking to have be, you know, they're testing it out and willing to see how it works for them in terms of ArcheAge 2, right? I think a lot of what they're going to be doing with ArcheAge going forward is trying to just create some good faith and create, you know, present the idea to the players that, hey, we are here, we're in charge now, we're going to try to do things differently, we're going to try and make changes, we're going to try and, you know, do other stuff for the game, and this is how they're doing it first. And so, you know, I think a lot of it's just they're just trying to create some good faith, maybe get a foundation, you know, set up for what they want to do with ArcheAge 2. Because again, you know, they are going to be doing ArcheAge 2. Kakao is the majority shareholder of XL Games. But overall, you know, it's interesting to see that Kakao is willing to try something different. They're willing to do the one model that was never done for ArcheAge so far. So, you know, at this point, ArcheAge will have touched every type of monetized model, with free to play, buy to play, and sub to play. So we'll see which one ends up being the best for them in that regard, I guess. But, you know, that is the situation as it currently stands. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoy the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you maybe want to see from Kakao with ArcheAge going forward. I don't know what I want to see. I don't really have a lot of expectations for current ArcheAge. I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens with ArcheAge 2. But, you know, that's later on down the road in a couple years. But have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next one.